Imagine this reality for a moment. You sit down to do your most important work, and you simply begin. There is no internal debate, no negotiation with the voice of procrastination, no sudden urge to check your phone. Your focus is a clean, sharp instrument, and you apply it to the task at hand with calm, deliberate force. Picture yourself receiving negative feedback or facing an unexpected problem. Instead of that familiar, gut-wrenching drop of anxiety and shame, you feel a spark of genuine curiosity. Your immediate automatic thought is not "I failed," but "there's the data." You lean in, analyze the information, adjust your strategy, and execute the next move without losing a single step of momentum. This is the state of frictionless execution. But for most men, the daily reality is a world away from that. It's a constant, draining war against hesitation. It's knowing exactly what you need to do, but finding yourself locked in a silent battle, paralyzed by the ghost of a past mistake. Every new challenge is viewed through the lens of your last failure, and the energy you should be using to build your future is instead spent trying to quiet the accusing voices of your past, that gap between the man of frictionless execution. And the man trapped in hesitation is not about willpower or talent. It's a flaw in your mental programming, specifically in the code that governs your relationship with error. This video is the patch for that code. It will give you the protocol to turn every failure, every mistake, and every setback into the very fuel for your momentum. If you are ready to stop negotiating with doubt and start living in a state of command, subscribe now. Your installation begins today. We begin by facing the beast, that feeling after an error is made. It's a cold dread that spreads through your chest, a sudden weight that makes the air thicker. It's the silent, instantaneous judgment that screams you are not who you thought you were. One moment you were moving forward, the next you are frozen in the shadow of this single mistake. This is not a simple feeling of disappointment. It's an identity quake. The voice of your own ambition turns against you, mocking you, the potential you felt just moments before now seems like a delusion. You feel a burning shame, a desperate urge to turn back time, to undo the action, to simply disappear. Let me be clear, this intense reaction is not a sign of your weakness. It is the result of a deep, flawed conditioning. From our earliest days, in school and at home, we were taught a lie. We were taught that error equals punishment, that perfection is the only standard, and that a mistake is a final verdict on our intelligence and worth. This programming is a virus. It runs in the background of your mind, turning a simple data point an error into an emotional catastrophe. It equates a failed action with a failed identity. It is the single greatest saboteur of male potential, stopping good men from taking the very risks necessary for growth and achievement. The mission today is to shatter that conditioning. We will rip out this old, defective code and install a new one. A code that doesn't just tolerate error but leverages it for exponential growth. This is not a motivational speech. It is a surgical procedure on your belief system. You are here because you know you are meant for more than this cycle of action, error, and paralysis. That recognition is your first victory. It proves you are ready for the truth. The truth is that your reaction to error is a habit, and we are here to break that habit now. The man you are destined to become is not a man who never fails. He is a man who is forged by his failures. He understands that every error is a chisel, chipping away what is weak and revealing the strength beneath. He welcomes the process because he knows what it creates. This is your moment of choice. You can continue to let this silent verdict rule your life, keeping you small and safe, or you can declare war on this lie. You can decide right now that you will no longer be a prisoner of a program you did not choose. The power to change this is already within you. It is in your desire for more, your frustration with stagnation. That frustration is energy. Today, we channel that energy. We stop using it to punish ourselves and start using it to rebuild ourselves from the ground up, based on a new, unbreakable law. The most toxic lie you have ever been told is that you are your results, that your actions are a direct and final reflection of your identity. You make a mistake in business, so you are a failed entrepreneur. You say the wrong thing, so you are a fool. This fusion of action and identity is a cage. It's a lie that is easy to believe because it feels so real in the moment. The emotional fallout of an error is so strong that it's almost impossible not to internalize it. The world judges results, so we learn to judge ourselves by them. But this is the path of the amateur, the path of the victim. A man of power, a man in command of his own mind, understands a fundamental separation. The event is one thing. His identity is another. The event is temporary, changeable, a single frame in a long film. His identity is the foundation, the bedrock, the thing that remains constant and strong regardless of any single outcome. You must burn this into your mind. An error is an event, not a person. I made a mistake is a factual statement. I am a failure is a destructive lie. You must create a firewall between your actions and your sense of self. Your worth as a man is non-negotiable. It is not on the table, no matter the result of your last venture. Think of a scientist in his laboratory. He runs an experiment and his hypothesis is proven wrong. Does he throw his hands up and declare, "I am a failed scientist"? No, a true scientist says, "Excellent, I have just discovered another way that does not work. I am now closer to the truth." The result did not attack his identity. It informed his next action. This is the mindset you will now adopt. You are not on trial. You are in the lab. Your life is the grand experiment. Every action is a test, and every result, especially the failures, is priceless data. It is feedback from reality, telling you precisely what to adjust for the next attempt. When you fuse your identity with a single failure, you give that moment the power to kill your future. You grant a temporary event a permanent authority over your potential. This is an act of self-sabotage, and it is a habit we are ending today. You are not your last mistake. So, let's draw the line in the sand right now. The event happened. It is in the past. It is data. Your identity, however, is here. It is now. It is the commander who looks at that data and decides the next move. It is the warrior who gets back up, armed with new intelligence. You are the scientist, not the experiment. You are the general, not the single battle lost. Repeat this truth until it becomes your reality. Your value is inherent. It was there before the mistake, and it is there now, waiting for you to reaffirm it with your next intelligent action. We've been taught to fear the mistake, but we're aiming at the wrong target. The error itself is a momentary event. It happens, and in an instant, it's over. The real damage, the true poison, comes after. It comes from the insidious habit of rumination. Rumination is the act of replaying the failure in your mind over and over again. It's the mental echo chamber where you become your own worst prosecutor. You endlessly analyze what you did wrong. You imagine the judgment of others. You bathe in the acid of regret. This is the true enemy. An error is a single punch from reality. Rumination is you taking that punch and using it to beat yourself into submission for hours, days, or even weeks. The initial event is finite. The self-inflicted suffering that follows can be infinite if you allow it. It solves nothing and corrupts everything. Understand this critical distinction. Analysis is productive. Rumination is destructive. Analysis is a controlled, objective process of extracting a lesson. Rumination is an uncontrolled, emotional loop of self-flagellation. One moves you forward. The other chains you to the past. The voice of rumination disguises itself as due diligence. It whispers, "You need to think about this so you don't do it again," but its true purpose is not to learn. It's to reinforce the identity of failure. It's the ego's way of keeping you small and safe from future risks by making the pain of the last one unbearable. Today, you declare war. Not on the act of making a mistake that is an inevitable part of any worthwhile journey. You declare total and unconditional war on the habit of rumination. You will learn to recognize its voice instantly, and you will give it no quarter. When you catch yourself replaying the tape, you must act. You must interrupt the pattern with force. This is not a negotiation. You do not reason with a virus. You eradicate it. You must have a protocol, a pre-planned response to break the loop the moment it begins. This is where your discipline is forged. Not in the grand moments of victory, but in these silent internal battles, the battle to wrest control of your focus from the hands of regret and point it toward the future. This is the fight that determines your trajectory. So the new law is this: the error is a teacher you visit once. Rumination is a tyrant you will no longer serve. We will give the event the respect of a quick, clean analysis, and then we will turn our back on it and face forward, ready for the next command, the next action. The moment an error occurs, your body is flooded with chemicals, cortisol, adrenaline. Your fight or flight system kicks in. This is a primal biological response. In this state, logical, objective thought is impossible. Any decision made from this place will be contaminated by emotion. Your first move, therefore, cannot be to analyze the problem. Your first move, step zero, is to create emotional distance. You must intentionally detach from the emotional storm to allow the commander in your mind, your rational self, to come online. You cannot strategize while you are drowning. This requires a deliberate, pre-planned technique. One of the most powerful is what I call the drone view. The moment you feel that hot surge of shame or panic, you command your mind to execute this protocol. You imagine your consciousness lifting out of your body, floating up, up, up. From this drone's perspective, you look down on the situation. You see yourself, a man in an arena. You see the event that just occurred. From this height, the emotional charge diminishes. You are no longer the actor engulfed in the drama. You are the observer watching a scene unfold. It provides instant perspective. This is not a mystical exercise. It is a neurological tool. It activates different parts of your brain, shifting you from the reactive emotional limbic system to the analytical objective prefrontal cortex. It creates a space, a buffer zone between stimulus and response. And in that space lies your power. To anchor this detachment, you must use your physiology. Your breath is the remote control for your nervous system. As you take the drone view, you execute 3 deep, powerful breaths. Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and exhale slowly through the mouth for 6. This conscious breathing is a direct command to your body to stand down from high alert. It tells your primal brain that the threat is not life or death. It flushes out the cortisol and creates a state of calm alertness. It is the physical act of seizing control back from the emotional chaos. You must practice this. Do not wait for a crisis to try it for the first time. Rehearse it. Visualize a mistake. Feel the simulated emotion, and then practice the drone view and the breathing protocol. Forge the neural pathway now, so that when the real storm hits, the response is automatic. This is your immediate action protocol. Error happens. Before thought, before analysis, before blame, you execute step zero. You rise above, you breathe, you create the space. Only from this place of calm command can you then proceed to turn the error into data. Now that you have created emotional distance, the real work can begin. This is the core of the entire reprogramming. We are going to fundamentally change the meaning you assign to error. From this moment forward, an error is not good or bad. It is simply and only information. You must strip the event of all emotional labels. It is not a disaster, a catastrophe, or a failure. It is a data point. It is pure, unbiased feedback from reality. It is the universe giving you a piece of intelligence that you did not have before. That is all. This shift in mindset is a shift in identity. You are no longer the defendant in a courtroom, being judged for your performance. You are the lead scientist in a laboratory, conducting an experiment. Your actions are the experiment, and the outcome is the result. Your job is to look at the result and ask one question, and that question is not, "Why did I fail?" or "What's wrong with me?" The scientist's question, the commander's question, is this: what does this information tell me? This single question changes everything. It shifts the entire frame from self-blame to strategic analysis. It transforms you from victim to investigator. When you see error as a moral failing, you feel shame and hide. When you see error as data, you feel curiosity and you lean in. The event becomes a source of power, not a source of pain. It is the key to your next evolution, the clue that unlocks the next level of the game. Thomas Edison, in his quest for the light bulb, famously encountered 10,000 failures. When a reporter asked him how it felt to fail so many times, his response was pure scientist mindset. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He wasn't being judged. He was gathering data. This is the standard you will now hold yourself to. Every no you receive, every plan that goes awry, every mistake you make is simply reality telling you, not that way. It is not a rejection of you. It is a redirection for your strategy. It is invaluable. So let the world have its drama and its judgments. Inside your mind, there is only the lab. There is the hypothesis, your plan, the experiment, your action, and the data, the result. Your job is to be the dispassionate, relentless scientist who takes that data and uses it to design the next, more intelligent experiment. This is the source of all innovation, all progress, all mastery. It is the ability to engage with reality. on its own terms, without the distortion of ego and emotion. You are not here to be right, you are here to get it right, and the path to getting it right is paved with the data from getting it wrong. A scientist needs a method, a commander needs a protocol. Simply saying learn from your mistakes is useless advice without a clear system to follow. This is your system. It's called the intelligent autopsy, and it's a three-step process to surgically extract wisdom from any error without the emotional contamination. After you've executed step 0 and created emotional distance, you take out a piece of paper or open a blank document. You do not do this in your head, you do it physically. This externalizes the process and forces clarity. Then you execute the 3 steps with cold, objective precision. Step 1. What happened? The raw fact. In this section, you describe the event with the detached language of a journalist. No drama, no blame, no emotional adjectives, just the facts. The proposal was rejected. The code I wrote crashed the server. I lost my temper during the negotiation. This act of writing it down factually strips the event of its power. It contains it. You are not reliving it. You are reporting on it. You are separating the signal from the noise. You are establishing a baseline of pure objective truth from which to operate. This is the foundation of accurate thinking. Step 2. What did I learn? The lesson. Here you become the strategist based on the raw facts from step 1. What is the clear, undeniable lesson? Again, be specific. Not I learned to be better, but I learned that my proposal did not address the client's primary concern about cost. Or I learned that this particular software library is unstable and I need to test it more rigorously. This is where the data becomes insight. You are actively searching for the principle, the strategic flaw, the tactical error. You are looking for the leverage point that, if changed, would change the outcome in the future. This is not about blame. It is about identifying a variable that you can control. Step 3. What is the next intelligent action? The strategy. This is the most crucial step. It is where you convert the lesson into immediate, forward-moving action. Knowledge without application is useless. You must close the loop based on what you learned. What is the very next smart physical move you can make? It must be specific and immediate. The next action is to call the client and ask for direct feedback on the cost issue. The next action is to rewrite that function using a different library. The next action is to apologize to my colleague for my lack of composure. This step kills procrastination and transforms the energy of the mistake into momentum. This 3-step process is your ritual. It is your non-negotiable protocol. You do it for big errors and you do it for small ones. You are training your brain to see a mistake not as a reason to stop, but as a trigger to execute a productive, powerful, and forward-moving analysis. This is how you turn poison into medicine. You take the chaotic energy of failure and you channel it through this structured process, and what comes out the other side is clarity, wisdom, and a concrete plan for your next victory. This is how you build an unbreakable mind. In the arena of life and business, the winner is not the man who never gets knocked down. That man does not exist. The winner is the man who gets back up the fastest. The ultimate metric of a champion, the true measure of a resilient mind, is not the absence of errors, but the speed of recovery from them. We live in a culture that worships the illusion of a perfect track record. It celebrates the highlight reel and hides the brutal process of trial and error. This creates a false ideal, a standard that makes normal setbacks feel like catastrophic failures. We must reject this illusion entirely. Your goal is not to be flawless. Your goal is to be relentless. Your power is not measured by your ability to avoid mistakes, but by the time it takes you to go from I screwed up to next action. This time frame, your recovery speed, is the single greatest indicator of your future success. Think of a Formula One driver. He is pushing the car to its absolute limit, cornering on the edge of adhesion. Sometimes he misjudges. The car skids, spins out, and ends up in the gravel. The amateur driver would be done. He'd be consumed by the mistake, the shame, the lost time. His race is over, but the champion, the moment the car stops spinning, his mind is already on recovery. He is not thinking about the mistake. He is scanning for a path back to the track. He is slamming the gears, turning the wheel, and hitting the gas. He is back in the race before the dust has even settled. He wins not because he never skids, but because his recovery is almost instantaneous. This must become your new obsession. How fast can you bounce back? How quickly can you perform the intelligent autopsy and get back to executing your next move? Can you shorten your pity party from a week to a day? From a day to an hour? From an hour to 5 minutes? This requires a conscious decision and ruthless discipline. You must set a grief budget for your errors. Acknowledge the sting, allow yourself a predetermined, short amount of time to feel it, and then you cut it off. You command your focus to pivot from the past to the present, from the problem to the solution. This is a muscle you build each time. You intentionally shorten your recovery time. You are forging a more resilient identity. You are teaching your nervous system that a setback is not a catastrophe. It is a momentary disruption, a skid. And you are the driver whose only instinct is to get back on the track and accelerate. Forget perfection. Chase speed of recovery. Measure your progress not by a shrinking number of mistakes, a fool's errand, but by a shrinking window of time spent dwelling on them. This is the metric of the pros. This is the metric of champions. This is now your metric. Let's be honest about the true source of the paralysis. Often it's not the error itself that cripples us. It is the deep burning fear of judgment, the shame, the terror of being exposed as flawed, incompetent, or foolish in the eyes of others. This social fear is a primal and powerful force. We are wired to seek approval from the tribe. In ancient times, being cast out meant death, so our brains developed a powerful sensitivity to social judgment. But in the modern world, this ancient wiring has become a bug in our system. It makes us play small to avoid the perceived threat of criticism. This fear of what others will think is the invisible cage that keeps more good men from achieving their potential than any other factor. It's the reason ideas are never shared, businesses are never started, and courageous conversations are never had. It is a tyrant, and we are here to overthrow it. First, you must understand a hard truth. Most people are not thinking about you. They are far too consumed with their own lives, their own insecurities, and their own mistakes to dedicate any significant mental energy to judging yours. You are the main character in your movie, but you are an extra in everyone else's. And those few who do take the time to judge you, to point out your flaws, look closely. They are almost always spectators in the cheap seats, not players in the arena. Men who are busy building, fighting, and striving have no time to throw stones at others. They have respect for anyone brave enough to risk failure. Judgment is the pastime of the inert. So, the first step is to devalue the opinions of those who do not matter. The only feedback that counts is from your fellow players in the arena and those who have earned the right to have a voice in your life. Everyone else is just noise. You must train your mind to filter that noise into oblivion. Second, you build true, unshakable confidence not by hiding your mistakes, but by demonstrating that they do not break you. Confidence is not the absence of failure. It is the embodiment of resilience. When people see you take a hit, acknowledge it without drama, and immediately get back to work, their judgment turns into respect. So, let's reframe this game. Your error is an opportunity to broadcast your strength. It's a chance to show the world, and more importantly, yourself, that your foundation is solid, that you are not a house of cards that collapses at the first gust of wind. You are a fortress. And a lost battle does not mean the war is over. When the fear of judgment creeps in, ask yourself, whose opinion am I truly afraid of? Is it someone who is building alongside me, or someone watching from the sidelines? The answer will bring instant clarity. Your mission is too important to be derailed by the opinions of spectators. We have been trained to see error as a liability, a deficit, a step backward. This is a profound misunderstanding of the nature of progress. The most advanced minds in history understood a deeper truth. Errors, when properly decoded, are not just lessons. They are portals to innovation. A mistake is an unexpected result. It is a moment where reality deviates from your plan. Within that deviation lies a secret. It is a clue to a path you had not considered, a strategy you had overlooked, an opportunity you could not see from your previous vantage point. The error forces you to see the world differently. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in science, technology, and business were born from so-called mistakes. The discovery of penicillin, the invention of the microwave oven, the formula for post-it notes, all were the result of experiments gone wrong. The error revealed a more valuable path than the one originally intended. This is the principle of the battle scar. A scar is not a sign of weakness. It is irrefutable proof that you have survived something that would have broken a weaker man. It is a mark of experience, of resilience. It is a source of wisdom that cannot be learned in a book. It is an advantage. The man who has never made a significant mistake in his field has a shallow understanding. He only knows the one path that has worked for him so far. But the man who has made and recovered from a dozen errors, he knows the terrain, he knows the dead ends, the traps, the pitfalls. He has a map of the territory that the flawless man lacks. You must begin to see your errors as the forging of this competitive advantage. Each mistake is a deposit into your bank of wisdom. Each scar is a badge of honor that proves you have been in the fight. It gives you a perspective and a toughness that your untested competitors will never have. This is why you must not hide from risk. Pursuing a goal with such caution that you never make a mistake ensures that you will never innovate. You will only ever follow the known, safe paths. True creation, true leadership lies on the other side of uncertainty. It requires the courage to be wrong. So when an error occurs, after you have done your autopsy and planned your next action, take a moment for one more step. Ask this question: what unexpected opportunity might this mistake have revealed? This question shifts you from recovery to innovation. You stop thinking about just fixing the problem and start looking for the hidden door the problem has opened. This is how you transform from someone who simply manages failure into someone who actively harvests it for breakthroughs. Your scars become your secret weapons. There is one final enemy that can keep you chained to a mistake long after it's over: the inability to forgive yourself. You can do the autopsy, plan the next action, and still be carrying the heavy, low-frequency vibration of guilt and self-recrimination. This is a strategic error. Self-forgiveness is often misunderstood. It is portrayed as a soft, emotional, almost weak act. This could not be further from the truth. In the context of high performance and relentless progress, forgiving yourself is a ruthless act of strategic efficiency. It is a weapon. Think of your mind as a high-performance computer. Your focus, your willpower, and your emotional energy are your processing power. Guilt, shame, and self-blame are malware. They are resource-intensive programs running in the background, consuming your processing power and slowing your entire system down. Holding on to a past mistake is like trying to run a complex new program while a dozen viruses are corrupting your files. You will be slow, inefficient, and prone to crashing. Forgiving yourself is not about letting yourself off the hook. It is about running a system cleanup. It is a strategic decision to terminate the malware so you can allocate 100% of your resources to the next mission. The act of forgiveness is a command you give to yourself. It is a declaration that the lesson has been learned, the debt has been paid, and the case is now closed. It is a conscious choice to release the emotional weight, not because you deserve it, but because you are too committed to your future to remain anchored to your past. This is not a pass for incompetence. You hold yourself accountable through the intelligent autopsy. The accountability is in the learning and the new action. The punishment of endless guilt is strategically useless. It serves no purpose other than to drain the very energy you need to do better next time. When you find yourself still weighed down by an old error, you must perform this strategic override. You stand in front of a mirror and you say it out loud: the lesson has been learned, the price has been paid. I am releasing this now to free my energy for what comes next. I am forgiven. This is not weakness. This is command. This is you, the CEO of your own mind, making a calculated decision to optimize your most valuable asset, your focused attention. You are wiping the hard drive clean so that the next operation can be executed with maximum speed, power, and precision. Do not mistake this for a gentle suggestion. This is a tactical necessity. An unforgiven past is a weight that will sink your future. Cut the anchor, terminate the malware. Your mission is forward, and you cannot afford to carry anything that is not essential for the journey. A single mindset shift is powerful, but a supportive environment is a force multiplier to truly master the art of turning error into advantage. You must go beyond your own internal work. You must consciously design a personal culture of error, an environment where intelligent failure is not just tolerated, but encouraged. This applies to your internal world and your external one. Internally, it means making a pact with yourself. You give yourself permission to be bold, to experiment, to try things that might not work. You replace the goal of not failing with the goal of learning as fast as possible. You celebrate the intelligent attempt regardless of the outcome. An intelligent attempt is one that is well thought out, aligned with your purpose, and from which you can gather valuable data. This is the opposite of reckless gambling. It is strategic exploration. You decide that the sin is not failure. The sin is inaction born of fear. Externally, this means communicating this new culture to those around you, your team, your partners, your family. You must make it clear that you value bold attempts over mediocre safety. You reward the person who tries a new strategy and fails over the person who does the same safe thing over and over. When a team member comes to you with a mistake, your response sets the tone for the entire culture. If you react with blame and anger, you teach them to hide their errors. This is deadly. Hidden errors fester, they compound, and you never get the data from them. You create a culture of lies. But if you react with the scientist's mindset, asking, "Interesting, what happened and what did we learn?" you create a culture of psychological safety. You teach your people that the truth is welcome, that data is valuable, and that the team's goal is progress, not blame. You unleash their creativity and speed. This is leadership. You must model the behavior you want to see. Talk about your own mistakes and what you learned from them. Make the intelligent autopsy a public process for team setbacks. Frame failures as tuition paid for a valuable education. This creates a powerful feedback loop. When people are not afraid to fail, they move faster, they innovate more, they solve problems more creatively, and because they are not hiding mistakes, you get clean, fast data about what is and isn't working, allowing you to adapt with incredible speed. Start today. Have a conversation with your key people. State your new policy. Our goal is maximum velocity of learning. We will make intelligent, calculated bets. We will be wrong sometimes, and when we are, we will extract the lesson and we will go again. Faster and smarter. We punish inaction, not failure. There are 3 types of people in the world, a concept popularized by the thinker Nassim Taleb. There is the fragile, who breaks under pressure. There is the resilient or robust, who withstands pressure and stays the same. And then there is the antifragile, who not only withstands pressure but grows stronger, better, and more capable because of it. Your entire journey of reprogramming. Your relationship with error has been leading to this ultimate identity shift. The goal is not just to become resilient to bounce back from failure. The goal is to become antifragile, to actively use the force of that failure to bounce forward. The fragile man makes a mistake and shatters. His confidence is gone. His momentum is dead. The resilient man makes a mistake, endures the hit, and eventually gets back to where he was. But the antifragile man, he makes a mistake, and the impact itself becomes the raw material for his growth. He metabolizes the shock and turns it into muscle. This is the ultimate evolution. You move from seeing error as something to be managed and minimized to seeing it as a necessary ingredient for your greatness. Just as your muscles need the stress of weightlifting to tear and rebuild stronger, your character and skills need the stress of real-world error to grow. This identity is not something you are born with. It is forged. It is forged every time you choose analysis over rumination. It is forged every time you conduct an intelligent autopsy. It is forged every time you shorten your recovery speed. It is forged every time you forgive yourself and get back in the fight. You begin to crave the feedback. You start to see a smooth, error-free path not as a blessing, but as a sign of stagnation. You know that if you are not making any mistakes, it's because you are not pushing the boundaries hard enough. You are not operating at the edge of your current capabilities, which is the only place where true growth occurs. This is the mindset of the world's elite performers. They seek out stressors. They intentionally put themselves in challenging situations. They welcome the negative feedback of a mistake because they have a system to convert it into positive adaptation. They are antifragile systems, your new identity. Declaration is this: I am an antifragile system. Every shock, every setback, every error does not break me. It provides the exact information and stress I need to evolve. I do not merely survive chaos. I use it as fuel. Bring on the impact, because it is the very thing that makes me unbeatable. Live this, breathe this, make decisions from this frame. Stop protecting yourself from the world. Go out and engage with it. Welcome the hits. Every single one is a gift of energy and information, tailor-made to forge you into the man you were born to be. As we bring this training to a close, I want you to zoom out. Think beyond today, beyond this year. Think about the legacy you will one day leave behind. What will be the story they tell about you? What will be the evidence of your time on this earth? History does not remember the cautious. It has no monuments. For the man who played it so safe that he never made a significant mistake, there are no biographies written about the person who avoided all risk and therefore accomplished nothing of consequence. The pages of history are filled with the stories of men who dared to think of the great explorers, inventors, builders, and leaders. Their paths were not clean, straight lines. They were messy, chaotic journeys defined by massive, spectacular failures. They were men who were wrong far more often than they were right. But they were right about the things that mattered, and they only found them by having the courage to be wrong about everything else. Their legacy is not the absence of failure, but the magnitude of the purpose they pursued in spite of it. They were driven by a vision so powerful that the fear of a single mistake was insignificant in comparison. The error was simply a cost of doing business, a toll to be paid on the road to building something that would outlast them. The fear of error, if you let it, will create a life with no story. It will confine you to the well-trodden path, the safe harbor, the realm of the average. You will live a life of quiet desperation, haunted by the ghost of the man you could have become if only you had dared. That is the true failure, not the failed business venture, not the rejected proposal, not the awkward conversation. The only true failure is a life unlived, a potential unfulfilled, a purpose abandoned for the illusion of safety. It is the cowardice of not even entering the arena. So, I ask you, what is your purpose? What is the mission you are on that is so important that you are willing to look foolish in its pursuit? What is the legacy you want to build that is worth the price of temporary defeat? You must have an answer to that question. That answer is your shield against the fear of error. Your legacy will not be defined by your stumbles. It will be defined by the direction you were heading and the relentless courage with which you moved. It will be defined by your daring. So go forth and dare to try, dare to build, dare to lead. And when you inevitably know that you are simply walking the path of every great man who came before you, you have the code now. You understand that error is not a verdict on your worth, but data for your growth. This knowledge is power, but only if it is applied. This is not a video you watch once. This is a training manual for your new identity. It's a weapon you must keep sharp. Your mission is not over. It recycles and begins again tomorrow at sunrise. You must make this mindset your default operating system. The way to do that is through strategic repetition. This video is your training camp. Return to it. Listen to it on your way to work. Absorb it until its principles are as natural to you as breathing. The man you were when you started this video no longer exists unless you choose to resurrect him. The new man, the antifragile man, is here now, waiting for your command to take control. Seal this new identity with a commitment. Your first command is to declare your new protocol. Go to the comments section and write, "Error is data. This is not for me. This is for you." It is a public declaration of your new operating system. Your second command is to strengthen the tribe. Think of one man in your life who is being held hostage by his past mistakes, a man who is playing small because he fears failure. Send him this transmission. Recruiting another soldier to this cause is an act of leadership. Finally, if you are committed to this path of continuous reprogramming and relentless growth, subscribe to this channel. It is your arsenal. It is your daily briefing. Your training is not over. It has just begun. Now go execute.